Aiken. Clay is going to sing for us in just a moment. I know everyone is excited about that. Our next guest has a very popular TV show called Nip Tuck. I think he's Nip on it. I'm not exactly sure. You can see him every Tuesday night on FX. Please clap your hands and lift your faces for Dylan Walsh, everybody. Good to meet you, Dylan. How you doing?
They're still clapping for him, I know. It's okay.
Well, Dylan, I don't know if you folks know, is known as the Clay Aiken of cable.
And that's why I'm here tonight. That's the theme.
You are, actually, your show is the #1 show on cable last week, true?
Yes, it was.
Yeah, that's pretty good. And you guys made the, this is kind of an honor, right? To be on the cover of TV Guide. I mean, you know, people make light of things, but to be on the cover of TV Guide is kind of a cool thing.
It's a pretty cool. I made a point of going to the grocery store and stood in the line waiting for somebody to notice.
Did you really?
I stood in front of the cashier and it was right there and I kept saying, hey.
Did you see?
Hey.
Did you see Clay's friend at the grocery store getting potatoes? It's really sad the way he treats him.
Keep bringing him in.
He's like a slave. It's like, do you remember the Grinch, the little dog with the... Yeah, it's a lot like that.
Yeah.
But, well, congratulations. And the show is, it's a very graphic show for commercial television.
Yes, it is.
And you guys use, very realistic when you're doing the surgery.
It's fascinating. They're prosthetics. Obviously, we can't do real operations, but the guys who make these... Yeah, eventually. Well, they're doing it on other channels.
And this one,
what they do is that they're fake, obviously, but they layer them so realistically that when you cut in, there's meat layered in there that's supposed to be tendons and blood. And but literally, when you're cutting in, I mean, you feel like you're doing a real surgery.
I bet so. It's like a special effects lasagna.
It's pork loin. It's whatever they got that day. And
sounds like the food in London.
And you smell that, and you're doing your work.
Really? And then is there like a staff barbecue afterwards?
Food in London? It sounds like the food I ate in London.
Well, you said London and not Ireland, though, right?
Well,
he did go to both places, yeah. Oh, you're Irish,
well, of Irish heritage.
Where are you from?
Originally from the East Coast. I grew up all over the world, but I spent most of the time from the East Coast. Virginia and New York.
What parts of the world, what other countries did you grow up in?
I lived in Ghana, in West Africa.
Me
I lived
too.
in, yeah, right. And we probably knew each other.
What high school did you go to there?
I lived in India and Indonesia, and then when I was about 11, I moved back to the States in Virginia.
Wow, why did you live in all those countries?
My dad was in the Foreign Service, so he worked as a diplomat working for the embassies in these different countries.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? But he was secretly a spy, right?
He obviously was a spy. No, actually, it's funny. The job description for the Foreign Service is so open-ended. You know, you could be anything. And every day my dad would come home from work, we just sort of wondered, well, what did you do? You know, and it is kind of, you know, what do diplomats do? They just sort of, they're social. But later, years later, we found out that he had been a liaison with the CIA, and that made it fascinating.
That's
all
cool.
Of a sudden.
Yeah. He never told you, or?
No.
Wow.
I never knew what he did.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, my dad does that too, but he's got a boring job, so it's like we don't want him to talk about it when he gets home. That's something else. Do you think he killed people, your father?
I doubt it.
Do you think he fake opened them up with into pork with a razor blade?
Okay, maybe he did a couple times. Maybe that's where I get it. Yeah.
You were shooting today?
We were shooting today.
Did you do anything gross on the set
We did
today?
a strange surgery today. It's the character's a man wwho wants breasts. So we put implants. Yeah, we do want breasts, but on him.
Oh, I see. And you do, and would a plastic surgeon give a man? Well, actually, I've met a guy that has on a bet. His buddies bet him like $50,000, and he got breast implants.
And that's the storyline that we're working on.
And so wow, that's something else. So, you take that real story, and he still has them because he's scared to get them out.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
In the show, this guy gets them out pretty quick. He's not real comfortable with them.
Oh, he does. Yeah. Well, it's hard to find shirts.
Yeah.
But you can win contests at spring break and stuff you wouldn't otherwise win.
Yeah.
Well, that's something else. Did you imagine that this show, I mean, this show is like one of those huge runaway hits. Like, I mean, you know, it really is. Did you imagine it would be like this? The Playmates are giddy. Aiken's Angels have got the laughing gas in. They're coming up with new names. But did you imagine that this show would be like, you know, up there with The Shield and these hugely popular
I didn't
shows?
really know. I knew it was going to be good, but I've done good pilots before that nobody cared about. And I think what it has going for it, it's different. It's not like anything else you're turning the channel to. I think it runs a great range. It's funny. It's very, very seriously moving at times, and it all does it with intelligence. So.
And also, you get to see people sliced open, which is always a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and people with pork under their stomachs,
Some
too.
pork.
And there's nudity on the
There's
show
some
as well.
nudity a little bit, yeah.
Uh-huh. And that's good, too, right?
Yeah. Last year was mostly the other guy. This year that we're looking into me a little bit. So.
Oh, well, that's not as... You know,
It's part of my day at work now.
are you guys going to take turns? Is that how it goes?
It's just figuratively speaking, yeah. Separately take turns.
Yeah. Well, do you ever watch that show, The Extreme Makeover, the reality show?
I do. Turn in the channels. I'll check it out.
It's horrifying, isn't it?
It is horrifying. I have to say, the reality shows about plastic surgery are horrifying, and they leave out all the horrifying parts, which is what I think our show is about.
America loves plastic surgery.
They do.
We do.
Yeah.
I tell you what, I'm going to get a nose job at the end of the show.
Yeah. You think?
And you're going to see
But
I'll be just as handsome as Clay. What's
I could do it.
You could? Do you think you really could do an operation at this point?
I feel like I could.
I bet you could, just
It's
as good as half of these guys.
but you have a technical advisor. I've had a year and a half of studying and doing it. I think I'm ready.
You know what we're going to do? We're going to go to
Let's do
Mexico
it.
and we're going to get it done.
Let's do it.
We got Dylan Walsh here from Nick Tuck, Tuesday nights on FX. We're right back with songs from Clay Aiken. We'll be right back.